who is also accompanied by the chair of the Electoral Committee, Comrade Kgalema Motlanthe, together with the secretary of the committee, Comrade Chief Mazila. Without any waste of time, I will hand over to the SG to read out the statement. Thereafter, we will do the Q&A. We're also joined by some of our candidates, but I will leave that to the SG.
Thank you very much, members of the media. Comrade Kgalema Motlanthe, the chairperson of the Electoral Committee of the African National Congress, Comrade Mahlengi, our spokesperson, and candidates of the ANC with us here today. I came with Andres Nell, he's working in my office. I forgot he's a candidate. Congratulations, Andres. Thank you very much. The ANC's list of candidates for the 2024 national and provincial elections is characterized by diversity, inclusivity, and experience. The candidates have been carefully selected through a rigorous, transparent, and democratic process that reflects our commitment to organizational renewal. The ANC's focus on strengthening internal structures, such as the Electoral Committee and Integrity Commission, ensures that capable individuals are chosen to implement our program of a better life for all. The ANC candidate selection process, which began in August 2023, was guided by a new set of rules aimed at promoting transparency, integrity, meritocracy, vibrant internal democracy, broader participation of the alliance and mass democratic movement, and a thorough evaluation of each candidate's profile. These rules ensured that only the most qualified individuals were considered for candidacy according to strict criteria. Candidates must meet requirements such as possessing a post-matric qualification, completing leadership modules at the Oliver Tambo School of Leadership, and being ANC members in good standing. Demonstrating commitment to the democratic movement and having no criminal record. By enforcing these criteria, we are paving the way for a new phase of governance that will drive our country's transformation journey forward. The ANC candidate selection process aims to ensure that only the most qualified and deserving individuals are nominated for positions. We have implemented strict criteria to ensure the integrity and credibility of our candidates. Firstly, it is important that candidates do not have any pending court cases or disciplinary hearings. This allows them to fully focus on their responsibilities without distractions or legal complications. In addition, candidates who have been recommended for suspension by the NEC after their cases have been finalized by the Integrity Commission are also not eligible for nomination. This shows our commitment to uphold ethical standards and holding our members accountable. Furthermore, candidates who are already public representatives or members of government executives must undergo a satisfactory performance review. This ensures that those in positions of responsibility are effectively fulfilling their duties and serving the interests of the people. To maintain transparency and trust, all candidates must agree Candidates must agree to sign deployment contracts in which they will undertake to implement the ANC's electoral mandate and the decisions of the organization. This may include redeployment and recall as circumstances may require. This ensures that our candidates prioritize the tasks outlined in the electoral mandate and are willing to comply with organizational decisions. The Electoral Committee guidelines outline the specific requirements for ANC list, which are crucial in ensuring that the ANC represents the diverse needs and aspirations of the South African population. To begin with, the ANC list must encompass a wide range of skills, experience, and capabilities to effectively address the complex challenges facing our nation. Additionally, the list is representative of all national groups, taking into account the provincial demographics. This guarantees that the ANC truly reflects the diversity of our society and gives a voice to all communities. Moreover, the provincial lists should have a fair geographic distribution throughout each province to ensure that every region is adequately represented and no area is neglected. The ANC list must also reflect the character of the liberation movement by including members from various organizations such as COSATU, South African Communist Party and SANCO, the Mass Democratic Movement, and key sectors of society. This allows the ANC to effectively advocate for the interests of all South Africans. The ANC candidates represent an intergenerational mix and advance the generational transition in our country. Additionally, the list should also represent all national groups. The ANC list must also reflect the alliance. The ANC candidates represent an intergenerational mix and advance the generational transition in our country. For the first time, the 1976 and 1980s generations, together with the millennials, constitute over 60% of candidates on the ANC's list. The rest are made up of the remainder of the earlier generation of struggle veterans and AMA 2000s, the Tintswalos, the children of freedom, talented, educated, diverse, and vibrant, are taking their rightful place in our movement and country. Many of the pioneers of our democracy, those who formed this include Comrade, can you give me a list? Let me read from. Yeah, I've taken this. I thought we were going paperless, but the ANC candidates represent an intergenerational mix and advance the generation transition in our country. Many of the pioneers of our democracy, those who form part of our first 30 years of democratic parliaments, have retired. This include Comrade Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, Pravin Gordhan, Pem Chwete, Amos Masondo, Eunice Karim, and John Jeffrey. We thank them for their contribution to our democracy and governance. We know that they will remain activists working for a better South Africa and will continue to draw on their wisdom and experience. The qualifications, skills, and combined experience of our 2024 candidates reflect a party that has gained enormous experience in governance and development. The new additions to our list bring with them experiences in civil society, business, the youth, students, and trade union movements, and traditional leadership, which will only enrich how we govern and represent people over the coming 5 years. The ANC lists also deliberately bring in candidates from all national groups. More than half of our candidates, 53%, are women, and 40% are young people, traditional leaders, persons with disability, and members of the LGBTQI+ community. This is a team of the people, by the people, and for the people, ready to work with all South Africans to implement the ANC's 2024 manifesto to do more together. These candidates were selected through a rigorous, democratic, participatory, and transparent process that lasted over 8 months, overseen by an independent ANC electoral committee chaired by Comrade Kgalema Motlanthe, former Deputy President of the ANC, former President of the Republic, and former Secretary General of the African National Congress. We thank the chairperson and all esteemed members of the Electoral Committee for the diligence, commitment, and integrity with which they carried out this important task. In carrying out the mandate given by the Special Extended NEC, the ANC Electoral Committee was tasked to provide a list of candidates appearing on the ANC candidate list who appeared before the Integrity Commission and in respect of whom the Commission submitted reports and are named in the State Capture Commission report. A number of individuals who fall into the above categories were either not nominated as candidates or were found by the Electoral Committee to be ineligible due to having criminal records, stepping aside as a result of criminal charges, or being suspended pending ANC disciplinary processes. Of the persons named in the State Capture Commission, only 20 are current or former NEC members and or public representatives. Of these, only 6 appear on the ANC 2024 candidate list. Based on the response of the Electoral Committee, the national officials compiled a report containing the names of the candidates, a summary of the matters in respect of which they engaged with the Integrity Commission, and or they were named in the State Capture Commission report. The report contains 3 parts dealing with, respectively, with candidates with no adverse findings by the Integrity Commission, candidates with adverse findings, and candidates named in the State Capture Commission report who have no Integrity Committee reports. The report deals with 16 persons who appear as ANC candidates. The report was presented to a special NEC meeting on Thursday, 7 March 2024. The President and all other candidates who were mentioned in the Integrity Commission's report recused themselves from the meeting. So he was not absent because he ran away from difficult matters, as it was reported. For good governance, the President and the National Chair were among those people with no adverse findings from the Integrity Commission. As we discussed this matter till 2 a.m. On Thursday, they recused themselves even though there were no adverse findings on them. The report was presented to a special NEC meeting Thursday, 7 March 2024. In the report, the national officials made the following recommendations. Candidates in respect of whom the Integrity Commission made no adverse findings are eligible to stand as ANC candidates. A total of 9 of the 16 candidates fell into the category of the candidates in respect of whom the Integrity Commission made adverse findings. 3 candidates are eligible to stand as ANC candidates pending finalization of their reviews, appeals, or their processes. 3 candidates are eligible to stand as ANC candidates pending finalization of their reviews, appeals, or other processes. 2 candidates are not eligible to stand as ANC candidates. Candidates who are named in the State Capture Commission report and who did not present themselves to the Integrity Commission as directed by the NEC and who have been referred to the National Disciplinary Committee are not eligible to stand as candidates. The extended NEC noted the report and commended the national officials and the Office of the Secretary General for the thorough and expeditious manner in which they discharged the mandate given to them. The NEC reiterated both the principle that the ANC candidates must be persons of integrity and that the organization is committed to respecting the rights of its members to due and fair process. Accordingly, the special NEC resolved that the above candidates should be allowed to stand as ANC candidates pending completion of their various outstanding appeal, review, or disciplinary processes. Should they be elected, their positions as public representatives will be reassessed based on the outcomes of the process. The ANC's 54th and 55th national conferences highlighted the need for organizational renewal to address internal weaknesses that have affected the movement's ability to lead socio-economic transformation effectively. The NEC is implementing various measures to renew the organization, including strengthening the Electoral Committee and Integrity Commission, introducing stricter rules for candidates selection, enhancing cadre deployment and promoting accountability, and introducing monitoring and evaluation initiatives. The progress made in the renewal process demonstrates that the ANC is moving forward and will continue to do so with our collective efforts. Renewal is not a gimmick, but a means to empower the ANC as a more effective tool for liberation in the hands of the people. While candidate selection is crucial, it is just one step in the ongoing journey that the ANC is taking alongside the people of South Africa. President Ramaphosa made the following clarion call at the launch of the ANC's 2024 election manifesto. I quote, "All leaders and public representatives, once elected, must be held accountable through the rigorous monitoring and evaluation system adopted by the National Executive Committee." The ANC remains committed and resolute to pursue the transformation agenda in order to build a better life for all, leaving no one behind. We will do so in a manner that will ensure that when we celebrate the centenary of the Freedom Charter in the next 30 years, the legacies of apartheid, colonialism, and patriarchy, which still loom so large in South Africa, will be a matter of history. Our confidence rests on the fact that we have achieved the impossible together. Our biggest victories we've won together. Our deepest sorrows we've felt together. Our biggest strides we've made together. The biggest odds we've defied together. And so today we can say with certainty, we will do better, we will do more, and we will do it faster and together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Secretary General. At this point, I would like to turn to members of the media for any questions. I'm going to start to my left. Okay, I'll start with you for there. Yes, my sister, and then I'll come to you. Please.
Just one question for the SG. Are you able to give the names of the 3 candidates who are eligible, who are eligible to stand because their matters are still pending appeals? And also to Dr. Mutante, do you feel that all that work was worth it, considering the fact that we are seeing people who were implicated in the list?
Thank you. Then come to the front row.
My name is Howard Mabonao from UNM. SG, yesterday at the rally, Alex, you suggested that there were individuals on the list who insisted on being there despite being told to stand aside there. Is the ANC perhaps held at ransom by its overly ambitious members who want to be there even for things that they don't qualify for? And lastly, an unrelated matter, there's been quite a number of incidents where some South Africans feel that people are breaking the law, they are being prisoners. One example is the cessation campaign in the Cape, individuals fighting in the Israeli army when they are South Africans in clear violation of the law, and they feel that the state is not acting upon this. Most recently, the DA letter to the Western countries to come and assist us with elections. Does the ANC share the sentiment of South Africans that individuals have been prisoners and the state needed to act?
Thank you very much. I will take Bule. You'll be the last person this side.
SG Jones from ANC. Are you able to disclose who are those who are not eligible to stand and how did you get to that outcome? Secondly, just in reaction on IEC and some of the candidate lists that were leaked, do you think this would pose questions to us, the integrity of some of these processes which have been intercepted by some of those within the IEC as well as they've come through? And thirdly, just in reaction on some parties which have held rallies and threatened the democratic process of the election, saying that if you don't get 2/3 majority, there will be civil unrest in the country. Your reaction to that? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Trust there's no one this side. I'm going to take a hand, just one hand, and then we'll have wait for the second round. SABC?
Good morning, Raymond from.
Okay.
Just wanted to know, the ANC talks a lot about renewal, and where this whole Zondo committee that costs our country R1 billion, but then when we see some candidates that have been invited as witnessing, they're still on the ANC's list. Does it mean then that the ANC's internal processes?
Please reiterate your name.
Oh, Raymond from Netherlands. Does it mean that the ANC's internal processes take preference over what the Zondo Commission said? And then, just lastly, can you just justify to South Africans that's why some of the ANC members that was implicated by the Zondo Commission is on the ANC's list? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to stop right there for now and perhaps start with Nkuluwa. Yes.
Sorry about that. I thought these mics are working. Siatanda Kapa, it's your name, is it? Siamtanda. Siamtanda Kapa, yes. Thank you very much. Your question is whether these internal processes, selection processes of the ANC are worth the trouble involved if the list still contains names of people who are facing certain allegations, or certain allegations are leveled against them. Yes, indeed, it is a worthy exercise. It was a very rewarding exercise in the sense that it ensured the rigor necessary to select nominees who will no doubt add value in Parliament. The issue of people who are facing allegations, I think the SG will deal with that, because the Electoral Committee's role was to implement the rules, and those who had criminal records were excluded without any prevarication. And so for those who are facing certain allegations, there are processes that the ANC had to set in motion. Part of those processes include the fact that they had to appear before the Integrity Commission, and where the Integrity Commission made certain recommendations to the National Executive Committee. The National Executive Committee was structured with the authority to then finalize those matters. And to the extent that as the Electoral Committee, we did not have very definitive findings against people who are facing certain allegations. We couldn't, as the Electoral Committee, exclude them from the list here. Thank you. And then I think it's Raymond. It's a similar question. That are the internal processes of the ANC taking precedence over the Zondo Commission? The answer to that is that no. The Zondo Commission reports in certain instances recommend further investigations of certain individuals that it lists. It did not itself make any definitive findings against some of the people. And so the internal processes of the ANC are really to refer such cases for the mere fact that you are mentioned to the Integrity Commission. And if you explain to the Integrity Commission as to why you are mentioned in the report, the Integrity Commission then makes a recommendation to the National Executive Committee, which is then considered by the National Executive Committee. But there's no, undermining of the work that the Zondo Commission did. It's processing it to some finality, as it were, because some of it, the NPA still has to act on it, and the Hawks and so on. And so the ANC has to also use its internal processes, not by so doing, not really throwing the Zondo Commission reports into the waste bin. It exists, and the processes flowing out of it will be followed to the letter. And the internal processes of the ANC also are meant to help the organization to adopt a stance that is informed and not just on the basis of what exists in the grain, and is communicated through the social media and so on. So the ANC has to follow its own processes as well. Thank you. Thanks, Max.
Thank you very much for the questions. News 24. The people who are affected in terms of the report, that's the first question. We'll answer that. Is the ANC held at ransom by ANC members? The ANC is not held at ransom by its members. The ANC is following the due processes that affect each and every individuals who themselves have got rights. So there's nothing that is fudged or put under the carpet and not been addressed by the National Executive Committee. I've given you a full account that we've had 20 people who appeared on the Zondo Commission, from NEC members who retired and those, some of them who are serving. Of that 20, we had 6. Of these 6 only appear on the ANC 2024 candidate list. And then each one of them have actually been attended to. So there's no member of the ANC who's holding the organization at ransom. I think there could have been a misinterpretation. It's very difficult to interpret Vanek to English. So sometimes the interpretation of what I said in English becomes something else. So it's called a story confunding. So so nobody is left off the hook in terms of these matters. Of course, we are concerned about the IEC leakage, but we're confident that the IEC body is very much capable to deal with any anarchy that may arise, like the leakage of the ANC list and so on. We've got full confidence in the Independent Electoral Commission, because how you run, you first admit, because people were asking who leaked the information. IEC then confirmed that it came from IEC, because that list was gathered, and up until we sent it to IEC an hour after we submitted, right on time, it was leaked. And also with some other party that we are challenging in court next week. Their list was also leaked, but you could see it's a family affair versus the movement of the people, like we actually explained in terms of the list. And we will give you the ANC list today. We will release it to all platforms for you to see it, from the provinces, province to province, province to national, and as well as the national list that we submitted. So the question of the threats, we expect that the state and the rule of law must be maintained. Now that the date of the elections has been announced and we are in the full election mode, individuals and their political parties must be held accountable. You know the code of conduct, what it means. Some other people have been a problem here in the ANC and they've left with their anarchy and they are showing it somewhere, that anarchy. Promoting lawlessness, anarchy, no sense of governability and all of that. The law must take its course and the IEC must act. No one has got the right to threaten democracy in our country. If you've got problems and challenges, argue those like we are doing. We have taken is a party. We are challenging them for deregistration and we are also taking them on in relation to our trademark. So the first case will be next week Tuesday in Bloemfontein, and then the second one, it has been agreed will be around 27th of March in terms of the trademark. So that's what is going to happen. Youth 24, let's disabuse ourselves about this notion that we did nothing, we're doing nothing about Zondo. The ANC we signed and supported the Zondo Commission. We supported the Zondo Commission. We supported that our members who are implicated in their own individual rights must appear before the Zondo Commission. And Zondo has made specific recommendations about individuals that they must be investigated. If people are arrested, the ANC will act on that like we have done. Ngulua, Comrade Khalima just addressed you on the issue that in our list, we had people who were on the step aside, they were not allowed on the list. We had people who had a criminal record and then were taken off the list. That's what has happened. Nobody who's on a step aside who's on the ANC list. The comrades who appeared in Zondo and that there are adverse findings by the Integrity Commission, the rule says, and we're not hiding technically behind the rules. Let's explain to you. The rule says no one will be eligible to stand if they've gone to the Integrity Commission, they've got adverse findings, and those findings are confirmed by the National Executive Committee. So in relation to these members of the ANC who are in the list, their cases have not been confirmed by the National Executive Committee, and the National Executive Committee is due to process a host of cases which come from the Integrity Commission that affect individuals. And that is why in our statement we say they will be reassessed if you are in the list, and the MEC then endorse the findings of the Integrity Commission, your standing as a public representative, if you are elected, you will be reassessed. That's what we're explaining. So we allow the due process to follow, and that's it. Now, if you decide individually that you step aside on your own, it's an individual case that you take. Maybe you're guided by your conscience, you decide, I don't want to go through this route, let me step aside. But there is no basis to remove anybody in terms of the list, in as far as the rules of the ANC are concerned. So that is the point that we need to clarify to everybody so that you understand. There's no list that is littered with people who got adverse findings and a decision has been taken and the NEC has decided to ignore that. No. With some of the people who are also in the list, there are current developments in terms of their status. Some are affected by ethics issues in Parliament and they've been exonerated. And some have not been exonerated. So these are the matters we are dealing with in the organization. Our list process has been very, very transparent and rigorous. It's not a bot. Others sit in a boardroom, a political party, they decide. Ours is very tough. We're contesting everywhere in this country. And then that's why we address issues of demographics, traditional leadership, people with disability. The national question in our list must be reflected. And then that's what we've done. Our list has got 53% women and has got 40% young people. And some of them are here. Let me see the list. Let me just show you. And then we'll just stand up so that you see them. I don't have their curriculum advertised. I think they've gone to school. They are well educated. So we've got Fasia, stand up. Hassan, she's in our candidate list, national to national. Comrade Steve Litzike is also on our list. Comrade Zugoko Rimbi. Comrade Megan Chauke Adori is here also on our list. Comrade Andres Neb is also here. Our own logo. So, but it's not only him. We're just giving you the taste of what is in our list. Our list is very diverse in terms of what we've presented to South Africans. So we know issues of integrity cannot be taken mildly, and we don't take the questions to us about people who are affected by integrity issues as a menace and an irritation. It is important because we are a party that has fully committed itself to integrity issues. So when you as the media, I'm not patronizing you, ask the question, you are holding us accountable against what we've committed ourselves to. That's correct. So don't think you are irritating us, waking me at night and all of that, and so on. It's proper. SG, why so on the list? Because from our information, we have learned this and that about him or her. It's important because that's, we said we want to be held accountable with high standards. And that's what the ANC said. It's not me, it's the ANC conference. And that's what we're implementing. And I'm explaining to you that we met even late at night to discuss matters of integrity. Of course, there are distortions there and there that we need to correct. The President did not run away. He recused himself. Paul Mashafile, our deputy president, was chairing the meeting. Right? President Thabo Mbeki was there. Did he speak? Yes, very good. He didn't endorse wrongdoing. He simply explained that it is important that these issues are processed. So I saw a report that said Mbeki endorses wrongdoers in the ANC. That's not correct. I know you get information from people who are leaking. People generally who got no love for their organization, the ANC. You just leak information unprovoked. Why? We don't know why people will do that. Even when they leak, they distort the truth. Mbeki was the last to speak in that meeting, and he was firm, as always, on matters of integrity. When I met with the Electoral Commission, they were firm also. And then they said, I gave them the report of the Integrity Commission. And then they came back to me. I said, who of these people I've given you appear on our list? They gave them the report. These are the following. Issues that we did not even discuss is the issue of people who are on step aside. They were taken off our list. So that's what we've done. So if Jacob Zuma was, for instance, in the ANC list, we would have taken him out. Without, I'm just giving an example. Because he's on a step aside, and he would have been on a step aside of the ANC. So it was a tough one. From the president to the last person, all people went through interviews. President sat there with the Electoral Committee for 2 hours on the interviews. This job is not complete. Now, Kulua, we are supposed to do, we are going to employ what we call on our public representatives. They must do lifestyle audits. That's the job we are going to now. And then process even the matters of the Integrity Commission, not only for these ones who appear now, but generally. Generally. Those outstanding matters must be processed. Again, I saw a report that says the ANC NEC defies the Integrity Commission. It's not true. We didn't defy. If we defied, it would have never been a subject matter. We know, of course, people wanted us to take a decision there and there that these people don't qualify, but we can't do that without following the rules, because litigation will work against us. People go to court and challenge us, even on any other matter, that no, you've got rules, but you don't respect those rules. And courts have not been kind to the ANC, where we have even found wanting on our constitution and the rules we have set for ourselves. They've ruled against us. So we've got experience from the courts that we've got to respect our rules and our decisions. So that's what we've done. So nobody has got a power to defy the Integrity Commission. The backlog on the Integrity Commission report is that, not this Integrity Commission chaired by Frank Chikane, is because these reports were there in the organization and they were not processed. Ismail Ashule just said on reports, look at you in the face. So that's why we got a backlog. He did it. I'm not doing that. You appear before the Integrity Commission, the NEC, I put it there, must decide. There are about 5 people now who are not even in the list, who have appeared before the Integrity Commission, and there is a finding on them. So the NEC must process that. So that's what the National Executive Committee needs to do. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, colleagues. I hope that the questions have been responded to comprehensively. Do I hear a... Okay. At this point, I'd like to thank everyone and the contract is adjourned.
Thank you.